Thank you for attending the session. I'm Sophia Beshir. I'm education manager at Magnum, and I am in charge of the summer course program. So I will start quickly by introducing the summer course. Then I'll let two previous participants, so Tina Masoumi and Nájera Betancourt, take the lead and present the work they produced last year during the workshop. We will end the open day with a Q&A session, so feel free to write your questions in the chat whenever you want to, and we will answer them afterwards. Um, the yes, the summer course is a 3-week long workshop taking place in Marseille in France from August 9 to 29. The way we imagine it is really as an artistic residency where you dedicate your time to photography, engage in discussions with your peers and around art, but also around the industry and much more. It is about experimenting with your practice, developing new skills, and defining your own approach to the medium. Um, During these 3 weeks, you will be mentored by three Magnum photographers. So this year it's Lua Ribera, Antoine Dayata, and Peter Van Ackmal. And they will guide you in developing a photography project. At the end of the workshop, you will transform the project you have worked on during the 3 weeks in a book dummy that you will present on the last day at a public screening. Besides producing your project, you will meet with industry experts such as photo editors, curators, or publishers, and they will give you some insights on how the industry actually works. These talks will also be followed by portfolio reviews, so they can give you proper tips on your own practice and on your own work that you are developing. Then you will also meet with local artists who will talk about their own practice and the Marseille art scene. And finally, you will meet with other Magnum photographers for talks, but also for portfolio reviews. I believe this course is really made for people who would like to push their practice further, their photography skills further, and who want to have a first attempt of what it is like to be a professional photographer, because you will work under time constraints and also like place constraints. So yeah. And as I said earlier, we have invited two participants from last year summer course, and I will now let them introduce themselves and the work they have produced. Your turn, Tina.
Hi everyone. I'm so happy to be here today. My name is Tina Masoumi. I'm an Iranian photographer based in Marseille. So last year for me it was perfect because I was in the city already. And I I started photography when I moved to France as a political refugee. So my practice has been very, very personal. I started with self-portraits the day I received my political status. So I had a project based in Marseille that was going on for a couple of months before the summer course, and but I was kind of stuck. It was a project about kind of rebuilding a sense of home in a new territory, in a new landscape. So it included a lot of self-portraits, objects that I had carried with me from Iran, and my community of Iranian women in Marseille. But it was kind of stuck because I was mainly taking photos of this woman and myself inside homes and inside the apartments, how we try to decorate our home and how sometimes they look similar to our old homes in Iran, and how we try to kind of recreate this sense of familiarity. So like it was very like, yeah, it kind of, I felt like I'm a bit stuck because it looks like very interior, and I wanted to kind of like, I really needed to some guidance because I was very self-taught and I didn't have much guidance to do that. So during the workshop, um it kind of went to the next chapter because Nusha and Ziad, they kind of really encouraged me to take my subjects and my community outside and really like take them to the places that reminds them of home in the city. And I was very afraid to do that because I was kind of feeling very comfortable photographing inside an interior. And for me, it was a challenge to, yeah, photograph people outside. I really wanted to keep the intimate and kind of, yeah, I was very scared of the chaos and I didn't want it to look like a street photography. I wanted to keep the very intimate atmosphere of, like talking about memory and diaspora and exile. So it was a big challenge for me to be like, okay, I should take it out. And people have been telling me to do that, but like when Nusha told me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try. So that was my first challenge to really accept that okay, I can take people out and I can, it's my challenge to try to recreate an intimate photo and like try to construct the photo instead of just doing documentary and try to like really keep it the way that I want and avoid too journalistic or too street photography. And it's really, I mean, for me, this 3 weeks really resulted, it really changed my whole selection of images because I had a fixed 20, like 25 selection as my portfolio. And then when I went outside, in that 3 weeks, I took many photos that really changed the selection. And even I changed the text of that project. I changed the title of that project. And it really stayed with me, the selection of the pictures I had with Nusha and Ziad. And I remember like after the workshop was finished, I applied for a grant for Union Professional Photographers in Paris. And I literally sent the same selection and I won the award. So it really helped me to face my fear of going outside and taking my subject in a public space because I'm a very new photographer. I started like 3 years ago. So for me, it was a bit tough to do it. But the result for me was I was very happy that I kind of got forced to do that. And but in that 3 weeks, what kind of like stayed with me the most was that I got this community and I kind of used them also in the project. Like Sophia, one of the other peers, is in the photo because like I remember I was a bit intense and stressed that like I don't have enough Iranian women to photograph and one of the things that Ziad told me was, you don't necessarily have to tell the truth. You can just construct and build your own image and tell your own story with using the subject to reflect your own experiences. And it was very like it really like unblocked something in my head because as a new photographer, I am always like scared to do something morally wrong in the photo world. And I remember I was very conscious about at what level I have to be honest about my pictures and if it is documentary or not. And I remember I was having a talk with Ziad or even also Leah on the online meeting with Leah that I don't want it to be a documentary and I don't want it to be 100% like documentary or even like journalistic work. I want it to be very emotional. And Ziad told me, then you don't need to tell the 100% truth. You can just use a model or use somebody and to reflect your own emotions. And that's really, I think, changed my life because I was like, oh, like this is 3 weeks and this week I don't have a lot of Iranian friends are not available. It's end of August. What am I gonna do? And then I just used one of the my classmates. Like this is a picture of my classmates. And I found a way to blur that line between documentary and fiction and like use my subject who were my classmates. Even I think we are in Le Couvent in the location of our class, and I just use them to kind of reflect my own story, and I try to not show their faces, and I try to like use this as a way to not like limit myself because we had like limited like times, and I wanted to take photos to show to the mentor. So I was like, I'm not gonna wait for Iranian people to come back from holidays. I'm gonna use whoever is around me, and I gonna like go around, find a way to maybe not show their faces. You know, it could be anybody, right? So that was also something that has stayed with me. And now I'm with everything happening in Iran today, I'm kind of like still continuing this project. Um, and yeah, I'm still like, using ways to blur this line. I'm not limiting myself, but before that, I was very scared to do it. I didn't know if it's okay or not, to be honest. And yeah, now I'm doing it. And then, what also changed in the project was that I was recording my conversation with my community, and but I was never using what they were telling me or the quotes. And during the workshop, I think it was a suggestion of one of the classmates to use these quotes that they were telling me about feeling being in exile, sometimes being a refugee, and how you cannot go back, and really just like because it gets very emotional kind of conversation. It's very intimate, and there were some very interesting, sometimes sad quotes, and I think it was Evelyn or one of the classmates who suggested that, because I did the book and I really wanted my book to feel very um quiet and calm, because I see photo book the closest form that photography can get to movie. And in my head, I was like, if this is the movie, I wanted the movie to be very calm and quiet. But then I felt like there is too much white spaces. And at the end, I started to handwriting some of the takes and the voice recordings that I had from my community. And I even remember that I wanted to be handwritten because I wanted to feel very diary-like, like very intimate. And it was Nusha who was like, no, it's okay to handwrite it. Like, it just makes it more intimate. I was like, that's exactly what I want. And then at the last minute, I did this like very, I don't know if you can see it, but I tried to add the archive photos to kind of make a link with the life that we as an immigrant had before, and try to make a link with that through this like the object as a book, because I think you can play a lot with the book as an object. You can, and then with the size of it, I wanted it to be tiny because I maybe I romanticized it a bit, but like I thought to like have like a home that you can carry with you as the objects that you carry in your suitcase. And they are very like limited amount of things that you can take. And I was thinking, like this could be like a home that you can carry with you. So that's how it happened with the book. And what else? But to be honest, like I'm still continuing this project, and and now I'm even like working on a new format of the book for this project. But because for me it was not really just about like doing a photo book like at the end of the 3 weeks and then like trying to publish this. For me it was really more about just trying to learn how to do it, and just make meet people and make connections, which I think that was the top of that was the main thing for me. Because like we had an online portfolio review with somebody for the editor of Liberation, who kindly gave his email, and I actually sent him an email a couple weeks ago when I was in Paris, and he gave me an appointment to meet him. Or I think like Hussein, one of our classmates, I told him about a program that I did, and he, through me, applied for it and got a scholarship to do it. Like that was like I think the one of the highlights of this summer, because he sent me a message. He was like, "Hey, I got this program that you told me," and it was just this small connection that really meant a lot for me. Or even the award that I applied. I remember before I applied for it, I sent a message to Nusha, one of the mentors, and I told her, "Hey, can you take a look at this application?" And I mean, she kindly really like took the time, and I ended up winning that award. But I think for me, what was really kind of surprising was how everybody was so generous with really giving whatever they had, and we still kept it going. And for me, that was the what I really wanted to take out of the program, and not to have the photo book, because I just wanted to gather information and really get some harsh truth about my project, and then continue doing it. And for me, it's still going on. So yeah.
Thank you, Tina. I see that we have one question from Lane, and
I
she
would be
said,
happy.
"Hey, I like the book. I like the handwriting. It is something I have thought about using too, but my writing is very bad though. Did you just tie it with string?
Did I what?
Did you just tie it with string?
Yeah,
Your tummy?"
yeah. Because but I mean, it was also a bit like I told you this was like my like real final what I have in mind as a book. So it was also some technical thing that like it, because this is very handmade. Like the cover is handmade. This purple part here is really handmade, and I mean, you don't really have to do everything handmade at the end, like not in the workshop, but like for yourself. But I think it was just like a way to kind of try alternative ways of how you can actually do a book, because you I think you have to do very different edits to finally come up with the final edits. And I think for a book you have to do those edits in the form of a book, even if it's just like I remember I just cut some papers and like put them together, and then I glued the photos just to go through them and see how it feels like before I print it. So I think you can like do alternative ways of the book just to get an idea of how it feels going through the pages. So yeah, for me it was just an easy way to without being, because I did a hard cover and it was very difficult to, I don't know how you call it.
Yeah, I don't know how you call it too, but I know what you mean.
We'll stitch together, maybe.
Yeah, to stitch together. So I used this. I don't know if you can see it. Like
Yeah.
to just like keep it together. And for the handwriting, my handwriting is awful. And to be honest, I will remember thinking if I actually think I want to have a handwriting in my official like final dummy, but I think I would try to find somebody else to send for me, because us also I grew up with a very different alphabet, so I'm not good at writing in English. Um, but I think it doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna know.
And
It's
if
not your
I
handwriting.
if I can add to that, I think it's also like very interesting and add something very intimate to your
Yeah.
dummy and to your subject. So I think it's not a big deal if your handwriting is not that good because it just add to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. So if you guys have other questions, you can directly put them in the chat and we'll try to answer them regularly, I guess.
Yeah.
Daniel, it's your turn.
Okay, thank you, and thank you, Tina, for sharing us your process too. I thought of it during the whole summer course as an intimate work, and I'm happy it turned out that way. Hi everyone. My name is Nájera Betancourt, and I want to share you. It doesn't have to be your process, but what happened to me. Because I mean, if you can go to the next slide, please, Sophie. My background was this: I studied filmmaking, and my job during pandemics, which is the time I started doing photographies, was of a director of photography in documentaries. But I don't know why always ended up doing these strange documentaries, mostly from right wing. I don't know. And during my breaks or day offs, I went to the streets. I went to small businesses, talked to people, and I took pictures of that. And suddenly I was being drawn into focusing onto real people because my ordinary job wasn't doing that. And it came off, let's say, as a habit to focus towards people. And I'm sharing you my background as a photographer. Upper left is my home state of Chihuahua. There's a lot of big hats aficionados. Veracruz, a place which I always love because that's where I started making most of my pictures. And back to down to the left is my summer, also summer course with Alex Webb from Magnum too. And somehow the pieces were like falling together, like I was finding, I wouldn't say my voice, but something that drew me together to this type of theme to focus more into people. But the thing is, I'm a pretty shy guy, so I you can see in my pictures, I always have like a, I don't know, respect or a scare of getting close to people. And I don't know if you can put the next slide, please, Sophia. So, being the guy that I know I was back then, I'm still in some ways. I I told on my first day to my Magnum mentors that I didn't want to do this shy photography. I didn't want to be this lucky tourist with a camera, these shadows, these whatever. But until that point, that's why I'm doing this slide. It's like I had in my mind my personal do's are done too, and which is I was repeating myself over the years, and I arrived 1 week earlier to Marseille, and I started doing my typical thing. Let's call them my usual suspects. All the pictures following the same thing I wanted to do. The shadows. I'm pretty, let's say, a dark guy, so I'm drawn into shadows, into colors. I think Cia told me that my pictures look too Mexican. I don't know what does that mean, but yeah, I mean, I was more drawn into shadows and colors. But the thing is, I was on that first week getting to know the city, the customs, to practice transportation, which bus takes me to this place. I didn't want to start like on a blank as soon as the summer course started. So I was practicing, but at the same time, I was realizing like I need to evolve in some kind of way. I need to break my own mold because I am repeating over and over. And I came, which is, I suggest a life hack for you if you take this summer course, with a theme. And I was choosing lonely people like me and unheard voices because I was feeling myself in common with silent people in a park, in the train, in the bus stop. And I'm drawn to that people because I am that guy, I am that woman that stays still thinking a lot of stuff. So yeah, I mean, that was my main thing. My main thing. And I told that on my first day. And what is the next slide? Please. Okay. So I'm showing you my process during the weeks, and I mean, I told also my Nusha, was it that that's it. I want to focus into silent people, but as I was saying that, I was feeling like unsure of my theme. I don't know if you know what I'm talking. So in the meanwhile, I was keeping doing photographies, but I have this issue that I want to come closer to the subject, but I have a lot of barriers. In the first one, My language, I speak like 2% of French. So I knew it was going to be a huge challenge for me. The biggest challenge is going to be the cultural shock that I don't have the same language and I don't have the same the good English too. But I managed my own way. I was carrying with my cell phone my translator and my screen captures or screenshots of the things I wanted to achieve, just in case. So if I can sum my first week, I would define it as an observation week. And you can see in my pictures, I'm taking pictures sort of away. The first one on the left, I was like pretty proud of this picture, but at the end, I was repeating the shadows, the colors, the size of the people whatsoever. And this is like the top pick of my first week among my mentors. And they asked me, like, what is this picture down in the center? And I told them that, well, I was always drawn to this infamous neighborhood in the north section of Marseille, which is kind of dangerous. And they tell me, but why does your picture doesn't look like all of this singular one? Why does this picture stands out? And I told them, well, listen, I don't know. I mean, I was drawn to this city, but I was trying to gather the whole city, different places, and many of my tutors or mentors told me like you should focus more on this one because this one looks pretty different. And I was like, yeah, kind of looks this different. So I came to this tough neighborhood, and what happened is also my language barrier didn't help anything at all. But my process from of an observational photographer uh, almost make me a challenge to get closer. So I don't know if Sophia, you can put the next slide. The second week. That's it. So the first, I mean, the second time I came around, I went with no camera, just to know the place. The first one maybe was a mistake, but I want people to get to know me just as a guy that goes to that neighborhood with no cameras whatsoever. And the next days, I wanted to let them know people that I had a camera, but I wasn't taking photos of them, just of the places. So it was like a small evolution because I mean, no teacher until this point told me you need to get closer, but I was feeling it because, as I told you, my challenge was I don't want to repeat myself to be a distant photographer. So slowly I was getting closer. I was getting inside of the buildings. There were a couple of kids that they were drawn to me. They were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And it looks pretty good. And they sort of drew me to this neighborhood. They contact me with a lot of people, which is good and bad because it's a dangerous neighborhood. And I slowly got their reception. I mean, I got, I don't know, received in a good way. They were introducing me to a lot of people. So I was in the middle of my summer course where I wanted to be accepted into a place. To do, the first thing is uh, I wanted to avoid making misery photographies, you know, like no disadvantage, no nothing. I just wanted to get like a honest approach of portraying these people. So this is my top weeks of sorry, my top pictures of the second week. And my mentors tell me once again, so who are these guys in the bottom center? And they tell me, you should get to know more of them. And even Nusha and who else? I think it's also Vique the Porter. Both tell me like we need to know how these people live, their friends, their entire surroundings. So there was one community barbecue from a social charity, and I went to them. Like you can imagine me with my poor French or my poor English. Like, listen, I'm here to make a summer course, but I really want to focus on this neighborhood, on the people, its life, its challenges, and I want to take pictures of your event. And they told me, of course, you're welcome. So they invited me to this barbecue. They make these barbecues for the whole neighborhood. I forgot to tell this neighborhood, it's set to be demolished in a couple of years. So that's why I have the urgency to register before anything changes. So they made these barbecues to get to gather people to come together to share stuff, to integrate them. So Sophia, please share the next slide. So once I got invited, I got to know the entire community, and I was still following my theme, focusing on these unheard people. Most of these people are displaced, will be displaced, and have been displaced. So I came to know a lot of friends. They invited me to their homes finally, and I remember on my third week review, I was so proud. I came to Nusha and told her like, "You told me that you needed to see how these people live. Well, here is here is the rooms, their living rooms, their bedrooms," and she was like super happy. She's demanding, but I think that's why, in her own words, that's why are you paying the summer course, to get people to challenge you, to put you on a on some sort of level in order so you can reach it. And maybe it's a small time to make wonderful pictures, you might say, but in my case, I sort of felt the evolution to challenge myself, to get to know people in a different language. I mean, imagine you're a teenager and a guy in his almost 40s like me. I don't know if you want to return the slide, Sophia. Sorry. Imagine the average people in these pictures. Is a teenager about maybe 17, 18, and a guy like me gets close to you and tells, listen, I want to take a picture of you. So I was working on my approach to these strange people, mostly young adults. I have also adults in my pictures, no worries. But it was a huge challenge because there's a lot of, I mean, most of the people don't want to get in front of a camera. That's the truth. So you have to find your way to get the picture you need. And that's one of the things I got of this summer course, that there's nothing that stops me from taking a picture. If I know myself, if I know the challenges, but unfortunately, I didn't know this before the summer course. And yeah, you have this context of the pictures. You have these kids, you have the old people playing petanca, you have some bullet shot in the window. So that's it about this neighborhood. And about my book dummy, now, Sophia, you can slide the next one. Well, the previous one. There it is. So this is the neighborhood in a summary. You have this building in the shadow. It's empty. It's going to be demolished, but since 3 years, nothing has happened. So I gathered the things I selected in my theme, which is a lonely people. These cars, they burn them to scare the police, so the police doesn't enter, but they enter every time. And the next one, please. The next, there it is. This is also one of the guys that the guy with the glasses. He drove me around these neighborhoods. He introduced me to people. I follow them. I invited them something to drink. I mean, water, juices, whatever. And yeah, I mean, I like this picture because it reminds me the thing I wasn't personally, maybe not for you, but for me, I was feeling super realized and super fulfilled to have grown a relationship with the whole community, not just a guy. And that was pretty cool. And now can we see the next one, please? This is the day of the barbecue. So this is a small place they have for kids to play video games, to hang around because out there is really hot. And the mothers, the families were making the fire, the barbecues, while the teenagers inside waited. And the next one, please. And well, this is the cover of my dummy book. I don't have it with me because I'm now in a different city. But I use this as the cover of my dummy book because I told Sied, and he also liked this one because this one for me summarizes the theme at the end. So these people are letting me go inside, as if join us. We're going to show you a new neighborhood in your life. So that's why I chose this photography as the cover of my book dummy. And let's put the next one, please. This is one of the last days, not the last one, because, well, I'm going to tell you a story afterwards. But on the previous, I could say my second to last day, I went back to take some pictures of these guys playing. And this one is the one I like most. There's a small stadium or a soccer field where they play. And yeah, I got nice feedback from this photo. And now don't change, Sophia. Sorry. So in order, I was realizing among these teenagers that they didn't like my pictures because they like pictures they see on Instagram about people using, posing with watches, with phones, with clothes. So there was a guy in our summer course, Hector from Mexico too, and he's super great in making portraits, super great in fashion portraits. So his project was about fashion in Marseille. So I told him, listen, I want to give these guys something in reward. Maybe it's not that much, but they're gonna be like super happy. They were looking at my camera and they weren't satisfied. But I brought Hector with me, and he took them to different places. They were posing with their clothes, and it was a nice experience to give something in reward back to them. But unfortunately, because it's not a safe community, there were some local young gangs that they told us, listen, you need to go now. You can go. You cannot return never. And we were like, okay, we overstay our welcome. But in the meanwhile, we were, me personally, but we were really happy that we made these kids and these teenagers, these young adults happy by their portraits. And I keep that to my heart, really. And let's put the next one, the next slide. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be your process, but I was lucky enough to realize this stuff. Maybe it helps you if you are interested in joining the summer course. But I really trusted the feedback I got from my peers and also from my Magnum team. No, sometimes Ines, sometimes Sofia, sometimes Sonia, sometimes the people, the fellow attendees. I remember editing my pictures in the kitchen with Hassan, with Bolin. I mean, with all of these guys, we were editing, and in along the summer course, this from Brazil, I forgot, Rebecca. She told me, like, you should use this picture in this particular order. And there's no place for pride, you know. If something clicks, use it. If it doesn't click, try it at least. And that's what I did. I interchange a lot. And for me, have a backup plan, because in the beginning, I was only choosing silent people in disadvantaged places or in disadvantaged situations. But that didn't work out as well as soon as I discovered my theme in this north section of the city. So it kind of evolved, and that's my next point. My theme is alive and evolves. I mean, for me, it wasn't still. It was demanding something from me, and I feed it with the things that were happening. Also, to some fellow attendees, they didn't have like a theme, but they evolved and they opened. I mean, this situation opened doors for them, and the final project was really good. Um, since I studied filmmaking in my school, they encourage us to opinate or to give opinions, reviews on anything. So my background, I think, opened the doors to some of my fellow attendees. They were asking me, they were writing me to look at their work or to edit it on the same day their picture is going to be qualified or reviewed. So it felt really good. And Yeah, I put relations evolved during the summer course because there were people I didn't talk nothing, and at the end they became really close to me. Um, at the beginning you are like shy, you are like yeah, in my case, but there are people that, for example, Tina. I don't know if you talk that much with Hassan, but now he writes to you and thanks you for that. The same thing. I write a lot with our fellow attendees, and most of the people I didn't talk to them on the first week. So that happens. I mean, relations evolve in during this summer course. I'm super grateful to that. And regarding the book dummy, there's something that I came to this course because I got the idea that we were going to end up with a book. But honestly, maybe the first day, maybe my expectations were, I don't know how to put it, high on the book dummy. But it is not about the final. I mean, you saw it with Tina. I can talk about myself. It's not about the final result. It's about the process. I mean, you cannot expect to make the book of your life in 3 weeks. It's there's a lot of things going on, the city, the people, the course, but everyone was really happy with their book dummy. Like I mean, in resume or to summarize it, people were happy to intervene, to cut, to stitch together, to share it mostly. So the book dummy itself was like maybe a summary of the 3 weeks, but not about your work. I don't know if that makes sense. So for me, it was like I'm proud of this book, even though you're not going to see it as it is on a library. You can see the sweat, the tears, the blood of the author. So it's like a human print of the fellow attendees. So yeah, and I want to thank the people in Magnum for me to realize these opportunities, as I want to call them in this slide for you. And also the same as Tina. I see there's a question. You're welcome, anonymous attendee. You're welcome. Yeah, so I'm open to questions. So as Tina, so as Sofia. But in the meanwhile, thank you for looking at our projects, and we're happy to share anything else if you want it.
Thank you, Daniel. I think it was so nice to have you both actually telling like both sides of what happens for you, the process, and like what you felt during the whole summer course. It's even for me, it's really interesting to hear that after like not a year, but like 6 months now. And I think I really agree with you, Daniel. It's like it's not really about the final project that you have. It's mostly about like the whole process, the 3 weeks of thinking, having plan Bs, having to like take more pictures, doing reviews again and again, questioning yourselves and your practice and art in general also, and like having a book dummy in the end kind of sum up what you've done. And it's also like a cool object to have, but it's also something that you can rely on if you actually want to at some point publish a photo book in the future, whether it is or not about the project you have produced during the 3 weeks, obviously, but at least you have tried something and you know how to do it. So yeah, thank you. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat and we will answer them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like I remember, I think we finished the workshop at the end of August, and by November for Paris Photo Fair, I had a new dummy, even though it was the same project. But for me, it was just like I picked up some. I mean, my Magnum photo book is like not photo book, but the notebook is almost like half full because I was taking these notes and I made a new dummy with the same project until Paris photo because I had more time, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna digest this 3 weeks, and I made a new one. And even that is still in process, like I went to Paris photo, I showed it to more people, and then it just evolves.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to say if anybody has any questions about the city, because I live in Marseille, or I don't know, whatever, you can also reach out to me afterwards, and I will be happy to talk. And
Thank you, Tina.
Yeah, I mean, I think likewise, from the point of view of someone that doesn't belong to Marseille, if someone wants to reach out for me, like, what was your experience with this, with that? And I want to, maybe I'm in fear of repeating myself. Both Nusha and Vicky told us something important, that this is not the summer course to for people to give you to boost your own ego. I'm paraphrasing, but it is a course to ask questions, to get challenged, to, I mean, for not being too complacent or self-complacent, because I'm that type of guy that at the beginning wants to listen. Hey, these pictures are really good, but in the same times, it's not the summer course for that. Nusha told me, like, listen, you are the guy. You're feeling that you are. You need to take a step further in order to achieve whatever you're looking, and you're paying for this course. So I'm telling you the truth, and that was really helpful for many of us. I think so.
Yeah, and I think also being a photographer is really lonely because you
yeah,
work on your own. So being like around 20 other people and being able to talk with them, have review and have your work criticized every day almost is a real gift you can make to yourself. I mean, from what I have seen and from what I have heard. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I think I also like agree with you, Daniel. Like when you join the summer course, I don't think it is to receive only compliments. Of course, you will receive some, but it's really to challenge yourself and to get better actually and to professionalize yourself, I would say.
yeah,
And for what Tina was talking about now what she's doing, I think the same applies to many of us, that afterwards our current work has a big influence of what we saw during this summer. I mean, I can get closer to my subjects, talk with them, have like zero shyness in approaching them. It was really, really helpful, and hopefully for many years.
yeah. I mean, like for me, like I I didn't have I didn't have the photo education basically. So for me, it was one of the few moments of my life that I had like a one-on-one somebody to get feedbacks. And I try to tell myself, okay, I don't think that you're gonna finish your project here, but just try to like get um information that keeps you going, and also like relationships. That was very important for me to like get people's emails and contacts and actually do reach out to them. And for me, that was the one of the main things to keep this going, because 3 weeks, I mean, it's a work of a career, it's a work of a lifetime, and you pick up things that change my work, but also these relationships, like having these mentors to actually be able to write to them, and I mean, that's for me, that was the best part that I picked up, because I felt like I have people now to reach out.
Yeah, that thing you were saying, I,
Yeah.
I I I was in Palestine before this Marseille summer course, and I sent my pictures to some of my attendees, and like, listen, what do you think about this picture? Will it fit? So you keep with them as long as you want. You have contact with many people. You can exchange something. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a nice place.
Yeah. And the location is also very nice. It's gonna be in Le Couvent again.
Yes. Yeah, it's gonna be at Le Couvent again.
I don't know who's here is gonna participate, but you're gonna see me probably getting a beer.
With pleasure, Tina. Of course, we will welcome you.
Okay.
If there's no questions from anyone, I think we can end the call here. Unless you want to add something, Tina and Daniel, I don't know.
No, to Tina, I wanted to ask her about her project, the book project. You were saying about your calligraphy in English spoken, but I was wondering why isn't it in Arabic or something? Just to.
Because I don't speak Arabic.
Okay. Okay.
I
So,
speak Farsi. It's a different language. Come on, Daniel.
okay. But I mean the theme, the spread of the thing. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Why
why is
I,
in the
you know,
language you feel more
I thought about like I had a portfolio review in Paris photo and for a publisher, and he also, I think even Nusha told me that I can do like one side because Farsi starts from right to left and English left to right. But the thing is,
complicated?
I really want to not make it like very Iranian. I want to, because I think exile is a topic that should relate to a lot of people and being displaced, you know. So this is one of the reasons. And also I'm not a designer, you know, like I'm a photographer. I try to be a good photographer and I try to like come up with the edit and the sequence. But now I have reached a point in the dummy that um I talked with a publisher from Marseille and I told her, hey, I need a designer to come and collaborate on this with me because I'm not a professional designer. So when it comes to the design, I think for me it was important to have like somebody who does it more often than I do to
Yeah.
kind of tell me, okay, does it make sense or not? Or like how should we make it make sense? If we're gonna have two languages who start from different direction, you know, so the book is gonna have to kind of make sense from right to left and left to right. So I don't know.
And you know this question I made to every people that spoke to us, but how or when will you know to end your project? Because you were talking about it was almost ended and now you retook it.
You know, I think documenting my community of Iranian, I think I will, or self-portrait of me in exile as a political refugee. I think I will probably do it for my whole life. Maybe one day I will go back to Iran and then it will be like, okay, this is the end of me being a refugee. But I think it will continue for a long time because it's very, you know, it's my daily life. It's my life. So I think I'm gonna continue it. But I think um, I think now I kind of picked it up again very automatically because of everything that happening. But it is a big question, you know. I remember Nusha told me, okay, Tina, now you have to like put this aside and move on. And
Yeah.
she told me something very nice. She was like, you know, I understand that you have this pain and that, you know, it's in your body and, you know, like as an artist, you have to kind of pain is this trauma is like if as if you were pregnant and you have to like push it through and get it out of your body through your art and then you will know when you have this like when you are feeling lighter you will know that it's out of your system and I
Yeah.
think I did felt like that for a moment um and now from since of January and I kind of really needed to go back to my community and I think the pain just kind of like came back and my way of dealing with this pain is to document it in a way, if that makes sense. So I just kind of can continue doing it, you know. And also I think it's always nice when like I'm still trying to meet with publishers. And I think it's always nice to have even extra photos, you know, like in my head, it's like if I manage to get somebody to publish this, even in a limited edition, then it's over. But there is no harm in having more photos to select it from, you know. If I go see a publisher and then I'm like, hey, I have like 200, you know.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I'm
Okay.
trying to just continue like that.
We just have one question from Catherine. So she says, thank you so much, Tina and Daniel, for sharing your work and being so open about everything. It was really great to listen to you both, which is a nice message. And then she asked, maybe a non-photographic question, but where does everybody live? Everybody searches for him, herself, a place to stay, right? The answer is yes, everyone is searching for themselves a place to stay, and everyone is quite coming from everywhere, no? I mean, we had people from Europe,
Yeah.
the US, I guess.
US? Yeah, we have people from US.
Well, I stayed at Le Couvent, so if it helps, you can reach out to them, and they have a different type of rooms.
Yes.
I think four of us were staying in that place.
Yeah. You need to contact the couvent directly
Ah,
to ask them for a room because they do have some.
yes.
I just don't know yet if it's already booked.
And I mean, if I understood the question, if about staying in the city,
Can you repeat that, Tina?
the question was about like finding a place to stay in Marseille.
Yeah, I think the Catherine is just asking like if the participants needs to look for a room themselves. If
Yeah,
it's
I mean, I think like in the Kuwon you can find places, but also depending on where you are, I think home exchange is an option with Marseille, and I know a lot of people who do that, and I do that as well.
yeah, it's true.
Mm. But you can also like sub-rent rooms. A lot of people in Marseille are gone in August, so they want to sub-rent their homes. So that can be an option as well.
Yeah.
I think it's
But
gonna be
there's like
cheaper than Airbnb
yeah.
and places like that.
Mhm. Okay. If we don't have any other questions, then I think that's it. So thank you so much, Tina and Daniel, for coming and
It was
talking
a
about your
pleasure.
project. It was a real pleasure to see you again, actually.
Yeah, you
I hope
too.
we
We'll
all
see.
see
See,
Well, I will
you.
see you in August. Hopefully
yeah,
sooner than that, but yeah.
yeah, but otherwise in August, with
Yeah,
pleasure.
perfect.
And
Have a
thank you
nice
for and thank you to everyone who attended the session. I will send you all the recording so you can watch it again, or if you also have any questions related to the summer course, you can email us.
have a
Thank
nice day,
you.
everyone.
You
Yeah,
too.
thanks everyone, and have a nice day. You can reach out to us maybe on our Instagrams or both
Yeah, sure.
the Magnum account with Sophia. And
Yes.
yeah, thanks for your time.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you so much. Bye
Have a
bye.
nice day. Bye.